Welcome back to your Coin Lady channel, everyone. We'll also discuss about Ripple and XRP, as well as how the US has sanctioned 10,000 foreign organizations unilaterally over the past 20 years, advancing the dollarization process. Ironically, the petrodollar, which supports the wealth of the American empire, will perish as a result of this weaponization of the US dollar. And perhaps, other nations look at it any time we impose penalties on one nation. They witness the event. Because of this, I think more and more nations are wishing to join the BRICS. They no longer desire to be ruled by the American dollar. That's what would eventually lead to a sharp decline in the value of the US dollar. Dollar's purchasing power over a century. And we notice that it slopes downward. The dollar's value is steadily declining. It is supported by debt and hollow promises. Consider this. You report for work and receive payment in worthless paper. You use worthless paper to pay for your car payment and your mortgage. And as time passes, I think that will just get worse. They are rushing, in my opinion, to bring down the current financial system. In reality, salaries are rising. How often have you heard it said that the increase in income is the result of people working 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet? 7 months in a row, inflation has decreased. Not at all, no. Goods are getting smaller while maintaining the same price. Also, gas prices are always rising. 3.4% is the lowest unemployment rate since 1969. Why is unemployment declining, then? People sometimes work 2 or 3 jobs to make ends meet, but they like to pretend and fabricate a story to make it seem like things are getting better when in reality they aren't. And we are aware they aren't. System of the Beast CBDC money. In an effort to combat the 15 years of US money printing, the BRICS nations speed up the dollarization process, aggravating the country's chronic hyperinflation. And I think hyperinflation will occur. All that would be required of Saudi Arabia is for it to take the platform and announce all of the nations that had to hold dollars for the last 50 years have suddenly lost interest in doing so as we examine using other currencies in exchange for oil. And if they all begin to sell their dollars, which I believe will happen soon, you would experience a wave of inflation that would hit the western coast. CBDCs would therefore be used. And if you think about it, perhaps they're preparing for that eventuality. Suddenly, the value of the US dollar plummets dramatically. Launch of hyperinflation. There are crises happening all around the nation. The executive order that Biden signed last year allows them to implement a CBDC without having to submit it to a vote in Congress. They may be preparing us for that scenario, and I think a cashless CBDC system makes it likely that it will occur. Every financial transaction you make can be tracked, traced, and, most crucially, taxed. Then once more, consider it. Imagine, for example, that you hire a roofer through a CBDC and that he also has a digital wallet. He completes his work, you pay him, but before the money reaches him, the IRS would deduct their taxes from it. In terms of taxes, I think it will work like a pay-as-you-go system. You won't be required to file tax returns at the end of the current fiscal year. And after looking at these politicians, I could understand why they would desire it. They frequently bring up anti-money laundering and our responsibility to pay our fair part. Elizabeth Warren frequently brings it up in conversation. They are, in my opinion, all in favor of a CBDC for this reason. It also creates a level playing field for them. They'll take action beyond that. CBDCs work with digital ID, which consists of an implanted microchip. There is a prophecy regarding the appearance of the Antichrist and the mark of the beast. Every aspect is prepared. Are we? We also know that Ripple possesses this. Current versions of the biochip microchip implant feature Ripple payment mechanisms. As a result, users of microchips won't need to link those devices to their bank accounts any longer. Once more, I'll never acquire this chip. I don't care if my XRP is worth $1 billion, as long as I can acquire this chip to access it. I still don't grasp it, and I think this will involve more than just your money. How climate action can be financed through carbon credits. The source of this is Ripple. So give it some thought. Do you have the chip? And you operate a vehicle? Your carbon credits will also be connected to that chip. I think all of your medical records will be involved. and they object to their desire to implant it inside of you. Alternatives exist to that. Give me a card to carry, whatever you want. I don't want it on my skin, and I don't believe anyone ever should. But once more, I think that'll come up more and more as CBDCs begins to roll out. Ripple isn't the only offender, Apple is also. If you've lately noticed that your iPhone charges a little more slowly, it might be because of a new setting that Apple included in iOS 16.1. When the electrical grid uses cleaner energy sources like solar or wind, iOS will recharge the iPhone's battery with clean energy. However, it's not just Apple, other businesses are also affected. Everyone is promoting the green agenda because carbon credits will eventually be implemented. It will be a multi-trillion-dollar industry that will continue to expand annually, almost like an additional tax on all of us. What is City Conspiracy Theory? A 15-minute television series. They're effectively downplaying this right now. But this one man claims that despite his extensive experience in urban planning, he has never witnessed anything comparable. He hasn't seen anything like this before, therefore it's unique. Nonetheless, they maintain that it is just for the community's benefit. But we are aware that this is false because the World Economic Forum makes everything clear. We know their entire strategy, which is why I think people are currently protesting 15-minute cities in the UK and elsewhere because it will eventually be implemented in the US as well. I wanted to share this with you since it goes above and beyond. Hence, the UN, the World Economic Forum, and the World Health Organization are not our friends. A mechanism for more authoritarian control is the international treaty. As we can see in this picture, they are now after your pets. By ratifying the agreement, a nation accepts that the majority of infectious emergency diseases first affect animals, including domestic animals and wild animals, before spreading to humans. The one component was that I will not, in my opinion, give up my dogs if they are not coming for them. In other words, a member state that ratifies the agreement must be willing to sip the Kool-Aid. Everyone must reconfirm their allegiance to the One Health approach movement since they don't want member nations to disagree with it. The well-being of humans, animals, and ecosystems is covered by this organization, which is almost like the New World Order or One World Religion. They are, in my opinion, going too far in each direction. We are aware that the person is bad. Just consider what transpired during the pandemic. Nevertheless, because George Soros and Bill Gates are involved in this as well, our nations will sign on to it as well. And that's why I've always emphasized the importance of constantly paying attention to what your government is saying. They make it clear what they are attempting, yet, as you may know, it's disguised behind many speeches. They produce items in that way. But once more, they will never come for my dogs. There is no emergency with our health. There is no climate catastrophe right now. We are experiencing crises related to authoritarianism, organized economic collapse, and corruption. They are attempting to undermine the existing system. They are attempting to implement CBDCs. They can then rule over us all in this way. Once more, you can clearly see how crooked governments are. We frequently discuss it in XRP videos posted around the SEC. More corruption exists than that. That, in my opinion, is only the very beginning. Yet as XRP owners, we must keep the XRP in our possession. I still think that having money in the future will allow me to live a lot better life, so long as they don't try to chip away at me. Yet the outcome will have to be seen by all of us. But the World Economic Forum constantly prioritizes one thing: power over me and you. I create these videos for that reason. Before it's too late, I want to make people aware of this. The majority of the time, people outside of the cryptosphere have no concept what a CBDC is. When you try to explain it to them, they immediately become defensive and claim that the government will never permit such a thing. The same government is opposed to you. It's imperative that you awaken before it's too late, because it will actually be too late once they implement that and subject people to that system. Digital IDs and social credit scores will follow, and before you know it, you'll be sitting in your house doing nothing while you're out of money, since everything will eventually demand carbon credits. Having said that, I'll conclude this video. I want to thank everyone who watched. I'm grateful that you all watch my videos. Please like and subscribe my channel. See you later, bye.